So here we are with the entire batch of figures that you need to collect to complete your Bonebreaker Marvel Legends build of figure. It's a total of 6 figures, but there are 7, the 7th being Wolverine. He's not included in this picture because he doesn't come with a build of figure. So these are the 6 figures. We have Sabretooth on the left side, then we have Darwin, then we have Vulcan, then we have Maggot, Havoc, and Siren. All in all, there's about 10 build a figure pieces that you have to connect to build our Bonebreaker. And while we are here, we can go ahead and get the height comparisons out the way. Next to the other figures in the wave, you could just see how big or small Bonebreaker is next to the rest of the figures. Alright, so Bonebreaker was the leader of the original Reavers. The Reavers were an Australian gang of cyborgs that pretty much plotted and attempted robberies all over the world. Bonebreaker here has had his legs replaced. Obviously, we have a motorized tank, pretty much. He's on a chassis and he drives around on treads. Pretty cool, right? Later on, apparently he gets it replaced with some spider-like legs, almost like Darth Maul, almost. So that's interesting, but this is the look we have here. It was done very well in my opinion. It looks great. It's almost on everyone's top list to get this year, and I think a lot of people are gonna enjoy it. This definitely could have been released as a Legendary Riders series figure, but it also could have definitely been released as a Build-A-Figure. So it works out either way, and I think overall the outcome was executed pretty well. Now, Bonebreaker possesses Augmented Strength, and he could actually morph his arms into cannons, but here we don't have that. We just have him holding an assault rifle in his right hand, or you can put it in his left hand. Alright, so to start off, he comes with a pair of fists, in case you don't want the grabby hands. The grabby hands are trigger finger hands, in which you can either grab the grip of the gun or the barrel, or the underbarrel, I should say, of the gun. So he can definitely hold his weapon with one hand or with both hands if you wish. So right now, as you see him, with one hand and also with both hands, just like this. His wrists also have side hinges, so that is beautiful when it comes to aiming down the sight of a weapon. So he's able to do that just fine. Of course, the double jointed elbows help out with that, and so do the hinges on the shoulders. But overall, you can do that. You can have him kind of like, resting the weapon down. And just have him like this. So the posability with the weapon and pretty much just an upper torso, which is all we have, is pretty much what you would want it to be. Very content with it, very happy. The side hinges is the most important part of holding a weapon. So I'm glad that he comes with that. Now the gun itself is an accessory piece along with those pair of fists, and I guess if you want to count the barrels on the back of the tank as accessory pieces, you can. But maybe you want to count it as part of the actual build figure, vehicle, then you can. These have peg holes in it, big old pegs right here, and you can peg them in whichever side you wish to have them, displayed there. So, very cool so far. Having a lot of fun with just the upper torso, a gun, and a couple of barrels. So, let's get a closer look at the figure. And then there's a quick look at him with just a fist, just a simple fist, and that kind of changes up the pose a little bit there. And there's the other fist right there, so you can have them both and have him without a weapon if you don't want him. Alright, so this is our Bonebreaker head sculpt, the only one that we have, and it is quite a nice looking head sculpt, I must say. They did something kind of different here with the mouth. I haven't seen them get into this much detail with the mouth. They really sculpted an individual tongue in there. We've of course have gotten open mouth head sculpts before, but I think nothing to this extent of detail. So it's very nice to see. Although I do wish he did come with an alternate head sculpt with a non-screaming head, so we could just have both. So we could play around and have both. I feel like that's an easy pack-in for like another member of the Reavers. Hopefully we can get a alternate head sculpt for this Build-A-Figure. That would be kind of cool. There's a free idea for you guys in case you guys haven't thought of it. But the glasses do move up. They are removable. They're pegged in on the sides. So if you don't want it on, you don't have to, but you will have those big old peg holes there. So I think it's best just to kind of prop the glasses on his forehead, like that. But now you can see the eyes. The eyes look very, very well done. Check out the color there. It looks like it's utilizing some digital printing, so it's pretty nice, I must say. But overall, the sculpt is cool. We got the mohawk going. This is a little loose piece on the neck. Move that around if you want. And then here's the torso. Nothing crazy here except we have this painted ring on his chest with the straps going around. And then we have these rings on his wrists, which are kind of loose. They can kind of move up sometimes, and then you'll see the skin, so maybe you want to push it down, but they're not really, really tight. Unfortunately, we do get pins with these arms. Would love to have pinless elbows on this figure, especially since he doesn't have legs either. Then we get the apparatus that connects his body to this cybernetic or cyborg tank. We got the tubes painted, which is phenomenal. I love that. We got this little side hips here are kind of painted. I think that's plastic mold, but it's a good color. And then we have red paint right there. So I love the color, but I wish there was more. At least I wish there was some black wash, some shading into this black mold. And then on the back side, you can kind of see the engine or the motor, or whatever runs this thing. It's got a red belt, timing belt. And that's it. That's the only thing that's painted, unfortunately. It's such a nice sculpt. Maybe a little wash could have gone a long way there, but it's unfortunate. And the same thing goes for the actual tank. Now we get this military green. Got some nice texturing, some nice details, some cracks, some little bit of battle damage here. And then we do get some paint in the front. So I appreciate the effort. I appreciate them actually putting something, but imagine just having that a little bit more spread out on the actual tank. It's just the front and it's only a little bit, but it does give it that oomph it needs, so it's not completely unpainted. The headlights are painted. Then we got this big Gatling gun here that moves around on a ball joint, so that's pretty cool. But I do wish we had some more paint or shading on the tank. I'm sure a lot of people are going to shade this thing and color it themselves, but I just wish it had a little bit more paint. I love the cracks and all that. And then the wheels, again, no paint or shading. Actually, it does have some silver now that I look at it in the light. It's very subtle. I didn't realize it before. I wish it was a little bit more than that. We have like a soft pliable plastic for the treads, but they do not roll. It would have been amazing if they rolled. They have a very nice sculpt to it and texture to it. So that's very dope. But I kind of understand why it doesn't roll. But I feel like it would have been just amazing if it did. Anyways, this was actually a Build-A-Figure piece that came with Sabretooth. It's just a little flap that opens up. Seems like you can store things in there. I think they probably did that so you can store his hands maybe in there. Just some storage compartment to put his accessories in there. I don't think you can fit the gun. Maybe only his hands or his glasses. But it's just an empty compartment there. And then that flap covers it up. So then we get the barrels back here, which is a marbleized plastic color. It's not painted. They try to make it look metallic. Then you get these little swirls in the plastic because it's that marbleized plastic. And I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like they should have been painted. It's got some sculpting going on there. Some battle damage. There's the peg hole. Definitely do wish there was some wash, some more painting on these barrels here. Now we do get some pegs on the sides here. And you can actually almost put a barrel on there. So if you want it on the side, you can. Doesn't really move around, but it's not a secure fit as these pegs down here. And then we get a molded bazooka. Unfortunately, it's not removable and you can't use it. But I do appreciate the sculpting on here. Makes it look like steel, although it's just all green. Again, wish it was painted or washed up something. But really, my only gripe about this thing is the paint. Is the lack of paint, I should say. Other than that, this thing is pretty darn cool. So that's your super close-up look. I know I'm really close up, but that's the point. Now we're going to pan out just a little bit and check out the articulation. Alright, pretty self-explanatory as we all kind of saw it all up close, but we'll run through it here. The head is on a ball jointed hinge that looks up quite a bit. He looks down quite a bit too, even with that ring around his neck. Left and right, no issues here, and he's got some decent head tilting. The arms go all the way up, all the way around. They go in and out about this far here. So pretty good if you ask me. Then we have bicep swivels, double jointed elbows, swivel at the wrist with a side hinge at both actually the fist has a regular hinge. The trigger finger hands have a side hinge, both of them do, so these have regular hinges. Ab crunch at the torso, no clicky sound, so that's good. But funny I say that because when you swivel the waist, get ready because this is gonna hurt. Oof. Did you see how long it took just to get to that next click? Ooh. it's pretty aggressive. I mean, it feels like it's gonna snap. It feels like you're snapping plastic when you're swiveling the waist. It's unbelievable. That definitely kind of sucks. I don't like the hard clicky sounds. This part kind of moves side to side, but it does not swivel. This apparatus down here, you can swivel it, but like you just heard, very loud, snapping sounds that literally sounds like you're just snapping the plastic in half. But it's not broken. It's still good. It's just crazy. And it's actually that was the hardest part to put together when you were putting the Build-A-Figure together, was connecting the torso to this piece. Very difficult. A lot of force. So just a heads up there. And that's it. Articulation wise, that's all you're gonna get. That's all you really need. And I'm pretty happy. Like I showed earlier, you can hold a gun just fine. He can literally hold his glasses in his hands or look like he's taking them off or putting them on. His arms go down on his side up until this piece kind of rubs against it, and that's it. So overall, pretty good articulation, aside from the fact that treads don't move. Alright, so we've already looked at him next to the rest of the wave of figures, so the only ones left to put him next to is, of course, members of the Reavers. So we have Skull Buster. This one released in the Caliban Build-A-Figure wave, and he actually came with an alternate head for Reese. I still need to track down another Skull Buster just so I can have a Reese head on it. But I kind of feel like we're going to get a dedicated Reese figure, maybe, now that we're getting Bonebreaker and possibly Macon and Cole, hopefully. I can only imagine if we're getting Bonebreaker, we got to complete the team. So hopefully we get dedicated figures for those. If not, I'll have to track down another Skull Buster so I can make a Reese out of it. And then here is Lady Deathstrike. So later on, she did join in. Now, I believe initially the Reavers consisted of just Bonebreaker, Skull Buster, and Pretty Boy. So maybe Pretty Boy is on the horizon. Definitely is a much needed member of the original Reavers. And I believe Lady Deathstrike joined in later on. And then this is the only Donald Pierce figure we have so far for Marvel Legends, so this is how he stacks up next to Bonebreaker. And then lastly, I'll throw in a Hellfire Guard. And here's a look at him next to the Punisher. And I don't believe I included Wolverine. I know I've been leaving him out. But here he is. He's a shorter, smaller figure, so kind of gives you a sense of where he's at since he's not really standing on a pair of legs. I think proportionally he is a little bit bigger. But of course, height-wise, they're similar. I think he still stands a little bit taller than Wolverine. Alright, so that pretty much wraps things up. This has been the review on the Hasbro 6-inch scale X-Men Marvel Legends Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure. Overall, this is going to be an exciting release for many, many people, and I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it once they get it in hand. I can't wait to see all the images, pictures, ACBA that comes out of this, and even customization, because I can already tell people are going to paint, dry brush, shade this tank up and make it look a little bit better. Overall, that would be my only gripe on it, is the lack of paint. But other than that, it's still a great sculpt. It's a good looking figure. I don't see them using this sculpt again. Also, I don't think I showed the bottom, but we're here anyways. There is like a little hatch here that's sculpted on there. It does not open, of course. And then they put in all the made in China and whatever wording, serial numbers, whatever is needed on the toy. They put it all down here, thankfully. But there's still sculpting going on down here, which is nice. But the level of detail is great. That's why I think just a little bit of black wash is going to bring all that detail out. So I may even consider it myself if I see somebody do it at first and succeed in it. So a lot of people are gonna love this thing. This thing is great. It's one of the best build-a-figures in a while. Very unique, very different, and I can't wait to complete the team. Hopefully, we get the rest of them pretty soon. So with that, I appreciate you guys sticking around and watching my entire series of reviews for this Bonebreaker Build-A-Figure wave of Marvel Legends. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and found it helpful. And if you missed any, go ahead and go back and watch and hit the like button. It would help me out, and it will promote me to go ahead and make more reviews for you guys. So as always, check out the links down below in the description for your chance to order yourself a set of these figures from Big Bad Toy Store. Comment down below your thoughts. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, take care, take it easy, and I will catch you on the next one.